Morning guys, Sunday the 26th of September 2021. I'm just over in the garden area now. As I say, yesterday came over and took one look and we looked at the weeds and gave it up as a bad job. However, I've been extremely fortunate that I've got my son-in-law Andrew has came up today and he's came up and given me a hand, and as you can see he's removed a lot of the weeds for me. He's cleared down this bed here for me. He's weeded in between the strawberry patches, which still needs thinned out for winter. He's gone down the path and took the thick off. We'll need to take ours out with a trowel at a later date when they die back a bit, and then we'll need to resurface these paths. He's also done these two beds down here, and he's got all of those sorted for me. And I'm probably just I'm going to do these with nematodes next weekend, and then we're going to cover them over for winter and put them to bed. He's now just in the actual walking cage, and he's just pulling out all those lettuces that have bolted on me now, and he's weeding all this bed here as well, and in between the kale and the chard, doing a cracking job. He's also been up and he's given me a fantastic hand to carry all the bags of pigeon corn that I can't lift anymore at the moment, and he's dragged all those up to the lofts for me, and we've got the pigeon corn bins filled up now, and he's also filled up the 25-litre water bottles. I've just concentrated with watering in here. Just give you a little bit of an update with the plants in here. You can see that the nectarines and peaches are weeping quite a bit. I've just give those loads and loads of water. They're coming to leaf fall this time of year now, guys. Anyways, but they were definitely dry on water. So we've just given everything in here water now. This is the apricot tree doing really well. Kenny has been watering these for me, giving them little bits to keep them going while I was ill. The cabbages were starting to look a little bit sad. I've just watered those again now. And we've got loads and loads of flower on this new lemon tree that we bought. We've also got loads of new leaf, as you can see from the last time. The lemon tree, the lime tree is still doing exceptionally well, and we've been taking limes off this and having them on solids, or rather Mrs. C has. I don't mind limes, but we have tasted these and they're absolutely very nice. This lemon tree's burst into flower and perhaps will fruit, as it's on a mature trunk. These are the mandarins, and as you can see the growth on these has just shot up. I'm going to have to cut these back, but for now I'm just going to leave them. The little lemon and orange that I planted last year, transplants, as you can see they're doing really well now, flourishing. This is an orange tree. It needs a feed now. I'm going to give this a feed because you can see the leaves are a little bit pale on this. It needs a good feed. They have been transplanted into bigger pots, but it desperately needs a feed, this one. Everything else is thriving well. Another mandarin here, doing really well. The grapefruit is still going strong, as you can see. And it's really nice and firm now. That'll be ripening shortly, probably around Christmas time. We've got quite a number of lemons on here. Some did drop off, but we have got some lemons on this time. There's 3 dropped off. There was 5 in total on that branch. 3 have dropped off. The tree likely knows what it can support and what it can't. There's only the 2 now. Then we have another 2 over here. So there just looks like to be the 4 on the second flush of flower. We've got 4 lemons on there now. Whether they'll stay on or not, I don't know. And I possibly will take these 2 bottom suckers off and transplant them, but not now, when I'm feeling a bit better. Again, another the orange tree. This is the first orange tree that I bought along with this one last year. This did flower beautifully earlier in the year, but we lost every single one because of underwatering, and they don't get a second flush. But there's always next year. I managed to pick up a fig tree that actually had 1 fig on it, but it's since dropped off. And I got this out of Morrison's, so it is capable of fruiting, this fig tree, and it's grafted. It's on dwarf stock, and I managed to pick it up for the priceless sum of £2.50, reduced from £20. So that needs potted on as well when I have the energy. And yeah, but I'm pleased to say that Kenny has been keeping these going for me until I was in a better position. And just a quick update in the polytunnel, guys. Right guys, Andrew's gone now. We can give him the praise he so deserves, even more so. So he's been in here in the cage, and he's weeded all this for me. He's even found a few new potatoes I'd missed. And he's got this all weeded for me. He's removed all the lettuces that are bolted, and he's weeded this for me as well. I've got some nematodes coming, and I'm going to spray these beds down again before I transplant again. Here's me kale, as you can see, doing relatively well. We've had several pickings off this. I got an early pick when they first started coming, and then I got another one yesterday. 2 bags full yesterday. But there is still something in here, in spite of putting slug pellets down and spraying them, which definitely sorted them out. However, I'm seeing something here, so I'm going to have to spray this down with insecticide again. The one that I used the first time round. There must be a caterpillar still in here. And or slug. We're going to put some more slug pellets down as well, just to protect these. But you can see they're coming along really nice. The rainbow chard we've had, they're looking bold at the moment because we picked loads off those yesterday. I think I might be wrong. That's either a chard or a bok choy, I'm not sure. But they were in the rainbow chard packet, so presumably they're chard. And then we have perpetual spinach, which is coming along really well. And thankfully it's not being attacked. So things are doing okay in here, with the exception of the kale struggling a bit. I did actually pull a couple out in that corner that had got absolutely annihilated. I think there was 3 plants I had to remove. That was before the first set of a lot of slug pellets and vegetable spray. But it looks like, and we've had several pickings as I say, but it looks like I'm going to have to, there's one there being attacked again. We're going to have to do another spray down in here, guys. We've got some nematodes coming, as I say, but to go in here as well. And then we'll get some more crops in here if we can get anything else to germinate. Everything's trial and error at this time of year now, guys. I don't usually grow this late in the year. I did have some turnips. You may remember from a video back, I planted some extra transplants that I had, and I put, I think it was 10 turnips in there. Well, something absolutely butched them, and the roots were also attacked as well because they just came out so easily. So these need sprayed with nematodes as well down in here, guys. There's something in the compost, there must be. Strawberries are still blooming and still producing fruit at this time of year even. And considering they've had no attention whatsoever, they've produced magnificently yet again for the 2nd year. In this bed, if you remember, we had 3 strawberry plants in there. It's now an entire bed of strawberry plants. There's lots of runners to be cut off. The old one cut back ready for winter. We'll probably just leave that as a bed of strawberries now. And Andrew's weeded in there, in between there for me. I took a few onions out yesterday. There was a couple of onions left in there. They turned out gigantic. He's also weeded all this bed for me as well. He's done a fantastic job. He's took all the thick off around this area. This was just full of greenery, to be honest. You can see what sort of state the allotment was in. He's just filled this up with weeds and the lettuces that had gone to seed. All this was only about a third full, and he's got it back up to here. This is weeds predominantly. Yesterday I stripped off the leaves on the Brussels sprouts, and they are doing remarkably well. As you can see, we've already had some. We've been picking from it. 1 or 2 of them are not too good. However, there are some salvageable Brussels on there, as you can see. The carrots that we planted earlier in the year haven't really amounted to anything at all. There's nothing came up in these 2 rows down here. These at this end are struggling, but as you move up the row, they're doing okay. If you remember, we pruned back the apple trees and they actually put a load of new growth out. And that one there at the bottom that was full of brown spot has actually put a little bit of leaf out, and we took every single bit of greenery off that. These will all get sprayed down with copper sulphate once everything stops growing. I have a few spring onions in here. There was loads in there. The birds have come and picked them all out and left me with a handful. Again, another 2 Brussels sprout plants. As you can see, some of them have gone over. They're like cabbages. And a few more spring onions in there as well, guys. And then these are the kale that were put in at the same time as the ones that were put in the cage, but they were treated and slug pelleted. These weren't, and you see the difference. I've left them anyways because I just, as an experiment, to see just how they will fare without any cover. We didn't get those cabbage plants put in because I want to treat the beds in there before I actually put them in, and spray the plants down before we put them in. Some surplus turnip that I grew, that was for my brother, he hasn't came for it yet. These are the second round turnips. As you can see, they're coming along really well, and they're looking a bit raggedy now because Andrew's just been in there weeding the best he could, but you can see they're coming on in leaps and bounds. A bit of a bald spot there. And these are the second round of peas which we've been picking from. I had a harvest off them yesterday, however they've caught with mildew now. We'll probably rip them out next weekend. I haven't got the energy now. They'll probably come out next weekend, them guys. And that's just a quick tour, late September, of the allotment. The rhubarb we transplanted down there early in the year, which were just 2 small crowns, have actually took root. We haven't taken anything off it. We've just left it to mature this year. Of our 6 dwarf trees, we got another one sprung into life. We've got a dwarf pear, and then we have the 2 apple trees which are doing quite well. Neither the cherries and one of the other pears haven't yet put any leaf out. A couple of little strawberry plants, runners that I potted on earlier in the year, they need to be put somewhere. This is our pomegranate, along with nettles coming up through the landing. And as you can see, we've still got quite a lot of weed, guys. I'm just going to let this die back naturally in winter, and then we'll get these paths all dressed down again, covered over with membrane. And we have some bark chips there which we didn't actually quite get that finished off, and that's why it's so bad. So that's just a quick end of September plot tour, guys. Not a massive amount going on, but everything is still looking pretty good, and we've had good harvests this year. I'm not going to complain at all. We've had some good harvests. I strung up the hose pipe from the little tap up there on the IBCs round the back of there to get this polytunnel watered yesterday. I'm actually just going to leave it in situ, and possibly one night through the week come back up and water these seeds that we've planted. So in here, whilst Andrew was overdoing all the weeding and everything, I finished the weeding in here. We got the beds scraped over, weeded, and then all pressed back down again. And in here I've got 5 rows of radish. I don't know whether it'll grow or not, guys, whether I'm too late, but if we don't try these things we'll never know. And then I've planted some little gem lettuce in a row down there. Red onion, which will just be used as spring onion. Then we've got white Lisbon, spring onion as well. And then the last row is leeks. It's probably the wrong time of year to sow leeks, but hey presto, we'll give it a go and see what happens. Now I haven't put anything in there. I basically kept the seeds down here away from the window. I need to put that window in again next weekend. I really had enough today and I can't be bothered doing any more. but I brought them there just there so they're out of the draft. The cardboard is actually there to keep the moisture in. It's not to keep them warm or anything. It's to keep the moisture in, and obviously Tuesday or Wednesday will come up and we'll lift the cardboard. If they're starting to germinate, we'll take the cardboard off. It's just to keep the beds nice and moist. These have started to turn already just since yesterday. And yeah, everything's looking tickety-boo, and we can hopefully get some small winter crops in here. These are the cabbage I got off my father-in-law, but as I say, I don't want to put those in the cage over there yet until I've got them sprayed down. So we'll just keep them in the bag and keep them watered in there for now until I've got them sprayed down and got some more slug pellets down in the nematodes in the bed next weekend. So that's the next weekend job, that, guys. Oh, and I managed to salvage one lettuce that hadn't gone to seed, so I washed it and it's basically hanging up there drying off now. We'll take that down with us now. Give you a final round up in the shed and then we'll be off. Right, guys, I'm in the shed now and I'm just having a cup of coffee. Sorry I've been hiding behind the camera most of this video, and apologies, I've played some of the videos back and it looks like I've repeated myself on several occasions. I wasn't aware I was doing that. So yeah, just a bit of a end of September tour of the allotment. Massive thanks again to Andrew for all his hard work and his help today. Although I knew I was powerless to do anything about it, and it was going to have to wait otherwise, I had resigned myself to that fact, but Andrew came along today and he's been a massive help. Thanks again, Andrew. Right, guys, so I came and had a cup of coffee and I found another bottle of insect spray, just the Resolver one that I used last time on the kale. So I had the cup of coffee and I went back out and I thought, right, sod it. And I got those cabbages planted that was in the polytunnel that my father-in-law gave me, took off the bad leaves, sprayed them underside and the top, and then planted them. It was much easier to do it that way. So I've got those planted. There was 8 plants in total. I do have backup cabbages in the treehouse where the old fruit trees are, worst case scenario, and or they can go into the outside beds with a net over the top of them. Same process, we'll spray them before we put them in and cover them with a net. Any other beds that's been weeded and we don't use, we'll put to bed for winter. We'll cover them over with plastic, cardboard, whatever, and we'll basically leave them dormant, ready for next spring. So it hasn't been a massively productive weekend, although it has today with the work that Andrew's done. But it's just a little bit nothing. I'm grateful that I'm still here and that I'm able to do something. It's just the heavy stuff he still gets the better of me at the moment, but hopefully that will come right over the next week or two. Anyways, guys, I've babbled on long enough. Wherever you are in the world, please stay safe. Be practical. Keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.